the Google for Education Innovation Program, Bootcamp on Air. We're going to join some awesome Google for Education trainers and innovators to talk about the Level 2 requirement to apply for the upcoming innovation program. So welcome, come on in. You can use the Q&A feature that you should see on the Google Plus page, or you can say hi at the hashtag GoogleEI and let us know if you have any questions, and we'll definitely try to get to them all. But welcome, and we'll get started in just a moment. Okay, everyone, I think we'll get started as everybody joins the Google Plus page. If you're watching it on YouTube, welcome. This is the Google for Education Innovation Program, Level 2 Bootcamp on Air. Thanks so much for coming. Come on in, and if you're in the Plus page, feel free to say hi and where you're joining us from today. If you can't figure that out on the Google Plus page, that's okay. You can also chat with us on Twitter with the hashtag GoogleEI and let us know where you're from. And we'll get going. Cool. Okay, everyone. Well, we're here today. Hopefully you heard about our program and are here and interested in becoming a part of the Google for Education Innovation Program. As you can see on the screen, this is the last cohort that happened in Mountain View, California, and we're so excited to open the next round of applications for the next cohort in Boulder, Colorado, right after ISTE. And the applications are due May 10th. But you do need some sort of vision for changing education and a Level 2 certification from the Google for Education program, and that's why we're here today. We're going to have another Hangout later in the month, more about the application, but today we're so excited to be joined by some master Google for Education trainers and innovators on our panel today who are going to share with us what it means to get Google for Education certified, both Level 1 and Level 2. And then hopefully you can start thinking about the next requirement, which is thinking about a way you want to change education. So let us know if you have any questions about the application itself or the program. But it's a really exciting network of educators from around the world and that are going to help you get a project going and off the ground and changing education. You can open up another window as you're watching us today, but the actual application itself is at certifiedinnovators.com. So there's all the information you might need, so feel free to pop that open, take a peek during today's Hangout, and see if you have any questions about the application. And go ahead and ask any questions you have right in the Q&A on Google+, or hashtag GoogleEI. And we'll have this archive available right on the page that you're watching. So if you want to send this to a colleague or you have to jump out, feel free to watch this archive later to get your tips for getting Google for Education certified. And before we introduce our awesome trainers, just a few details about the program itself so you know what you're getting into. Here we go, Boulder, Colorado. You do have to come face-to-face to this academy. where you'll work with Googlers and innovators and coaches to work on your vision and your project. But it's a year-long program of professional development and support for getting your project out into the wild. And it's really exciting. We have our cohort right now who are working on all sorts of ideas, whether it's apps or training programs or classroom projects that involve technology and education and designing really engaging projects for students and teachers to change education. And today we're chatting about the one prerequisite that you must have to apply, which is the Google Certified Educator Level 2. And then the other requirement is having some sort of history of innovation in your school or in your community. And whenever you're ready, just head to that certifiedinnovators.com and you can apply right there. And I encourage you to check it out and see before you actually apply. You can save get a document with all the questions in it so you can prepare and think about what your application might look like. But for now, let's chat to our awesome folks who joined us today in their afternoons from all over the US and Canada. We have Miss Kate Petty her at Tech Classroom. Hey, Kate, do you want to say a quick hello and what you do?
Hi everybody, I'm Kate, and I'm normally in Southern California, but right now I am in the lovely city and state of Casper, Wyoming. And I am EdTech Team's Director of Certification Programs. So basically anything that involves Google certification and the projects we do with that, I am involved with. It's nice to see everybody.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kate, for joining us today. We also have the lovely Sandra Chow. Hi, Sandra. She has a great story for her Twitter handle, but it's WhatNunu, so be sure to say hi to her. And Sandra, you want to tell everyone what you're up to and where you're at?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto, Canada, and I'm a teacher at the Toronto District School Board. And I became a certified innovator in 2014 with Michelle right over there. And then also became a trainer. And then because I do a lot of training in my board, I also did the Level 1, Level 2 training because I found it really helpful to be able to help other teachers, especially those who were applying for the Innovator program. And just this past February, I was out in Mountain View, and I was a coach for the Innovator program, so that was really fun.
Awesome. And now Sandra gets to work with all of our innovators, helping them with mentors and helping them see their projects through to completion. So thanks so much, Sandra, for joining us to help get a new cohort of folks around. And then we have Sean Williams at Shawnee. How's it going, Sean? Where are you at? What are you up to?
It's awesome. I'm in Chicago tonight, which is pretty great. Having a good time enjoying the city. Let's see. I am a mentor for one of the new Mountain View innovators, and basically things have shifted around, and Kate's my boss now.
I couldn't think of a better one. So awesome. And Sean, I think you're working out with some interested folks for Level 2 certification out there as well. So awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. And we have two stragglers today with us, but we'll let them share their tips because they're really smart and awesome. But also a coach, Jay Atwood from Singapore. Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Hello, how are you doing? Good morning. It's only 7 in the morning here in Singapore.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I was a member of the MTV class of 2012. When I went through my Google Teacher Academy, and I was just with Sandra in Mountain View, and was lucky enough to be one of the coaches there, which was really great. And I've also done a lot of training around the world with level 1 and level 2 certification programs, and helped to develop the training center. So we got some background knowledge on some of that too. That would be happy to talk about if people have questions.
Awesome. Glad to have your experience here today, Jay. Thanks for joining us this morning. And then Miss Michelle Armstrong joining us. How's it going, Michelle?
It's going great. Thanks, everyone. I'm Michelle from Calgary. I'm the director of EdTech Team Canada, and I have the pleasure of working with Wendy setting up the Innovator programs. Wendy's done an amazing job. I'm happy to hang on her coattails. And then also shout out to the Canadians that are listening to us now. We got a bunch of you posting in the G Plus community, so shout out to you guys. Thanks for being here. And then Kate, you have to say hi to the folks in Casper. We were there last year. Great people out there. Tell them Michelle says hi. Jay was there too.
We love Casper.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten out yet, but I'm excited to explore.
Oh, it's so great.
Do you have good weather today, Kate?
It is really good weather today, and apparently it's not windy, which apparently it always is windy here. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks again if you're watching us online. Please help us make it nice and interactive. We're doing this for you guys to make sure that you have the information and skills that you need to hopefully apply for the Innovator program and get over this first step, which is become level 1 and level 2 certified. But Jay mentioned working on the exams in the training center, and it's actually really, really well done and really helps connect to hopefully your classroom teaching and what you do every day in the classroom versus just learning about a bunch of awesome tools, which it also does. So excited you're all here from all over. Oscar from Pennsylvania. Thanks, Kim. We have a cohort member from Mountain View, Mark from San Jose, Sergio, one of our upcoming coaches, yay, from Austin via Napa. Awesome. If you are in the community, go ahead and shout out if you haven't yet. Throw any questions there, and we'll be sure to pluck from them as we go along, and we'll definitely leave some time at the end. So thanks, guys. Well, Kate, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and let you share your screen and take us a little bit into what is a training center, where can people get started, and folks, we're going to look at the 2 different exams that are going on for level 1 and level 2, and then hopefully Jay and Michelle and Sandra and Sean chime in definitely with tips and strategies for folks watching, and then hopefully we can take a break and go around and have you guys each share your experience with the training center and how it went. Sound good?
Sounds good. All right.
All right.
So I think I'm sharing right now. Can someone confirm with me real quick?
Yep, we see you.
Excellent. So as we all said, I'm the Director of Certification Programs at EdTech Team, and this is my email and my Twitter hashtag or my Twitter handle if you want to get a hold of me later on for any other questions. So a lot of people are confused about certification programs. I thought it might be best just to start with the basics and what they offer right now. So we all know that the trainer program right here has been out for years. It's a little outdated, and Google, I believe, is working on it right now to update that program. But if you have ever taken any of those 5 tests that encompass the trainer program and then the application, you know that those tests are very technical driven. They have a lot of things like, how many people should be on a Google Doc at the same time, and, how many people can fit into a Google slideshow at the same time. But not necessarily things that teachers need to know. And so I think in response to just the need for a certification program for teachers specifically and teachers in the classroom, Google came in with the Educator Level 1 and the Educator Level 2 programs. Now these, again, are specifically for teachers. And Jay mentioned that he'd worked with that program, and I had the opportunity to work with it as well. And it is really, truly a fantastic program for teachers. If you think of the SAMR scale, you're looking at level 1 as your S and your A. That's the foundational, the basic skills, the nuts and bolts of what you need to know to be digitally literate. So you've got your Drive and your slides and your forms and your spreadsheets and your YouTube and a little bit of classroom. But what it also has, which is really nice, is digital citizenship and copyright fair use. So it's a nice toolkit for teachers who are beginning to implement technology into the classrooms. Now, level 2 is your M and your R, and this is the fun stuff, right? This is now that I know all the basics, what can I do with them? So you're getting things like multimedia text sets, hyperdocs. You're getting virtual field trips. You're getting maps. All sorts of really, really fun and googly and fun stuff that you're getting into. However, what it's really designed to do is teach personalized learning. So it's got blended learning, flipped learning, and PBL. And all of the things you do in level 2 are they're designed to be able to fit into one of those programs and help teachers create purposeful lessons. Help you bring everything together and give something to students that makes sense and something that they need to know, and create goals. So you've got your level 1, level 2. I'm often asked quite a bit if you need to have your level 1 in order to get your level 2, and that's a no. You don't have to take level 1 to get level 2. If you have been using Google for a really long time and you know it well, you should be able to be just fine in level 2, take your level 2 exam, and still qualify for the Innovator program. However, it's strongly suggested that you do go ahead and go with level 1 so you know what the test looks like and you're prepared for when you're taking the exam for level 2. So I kind of talked about these other slides, and I'll make these available to you via the Innovator program whenever that goes out. But I was asked to talk about a few test tips for level 2. As far as technical things, you really want to make sure that you register for this exam at least 24 to 48 hours in advance. That it is a 3-hour exam, and for level 2, I don't know anyone, including myself or Sean even, who's on the call with us, that took this test in less than 2 hours for level 2. So anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, you need to book that time, and you really don't want to schedule that doctor's appointment at the end of that 3 hours where you're rushing through it. You just want to be able to take your time and know that you're doing it well. However, you got to register 24, 48 hours in advance because it takes that long sometimes to get your test material sent to you once you register. So don't register right before your 3-hour window that you've blocked out thinking that you're going to take it right away.
That's a really good tip, Kate. We do have, while you are talking about the difference between, whether someone should take level 1 or level 2, we have a couple comments. We've got Bill, who took level 1 and didn't seem too bad. How different is level 2? Is it more of the same, just a little bit more in depth, or does it have more obscure tools? Maurice had the same question online. So maybe Jay or Sandra or Sean or Michelle, do you guys want to pipe in and think anything that you can share with Bill and Maurice, what the differences are between the two?
Yeah, I'll say the first couple things about I don't think that the tools are necessarily that different. Most of the tools are probably addressed in both levels. While some are more focused on it in the level 2, but it's really the depth of the skills. So you might start with some of the very basic features that are still useful to teachers and kind of doing what we need to do every day. But when it gets kind of like what Kate was saying, it gets into the higher order types of skills and higher order types of skills, what features from those products really help and support that?
I also find there's a lot more examples in the level 2 that apply to the classroom. So you can see a lot more how does a teacher use it in the classroom, and so those examples are more prevalent in level 2, whereas in level 1 they might be simpler examples that just get you the basics of the application.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sandra. Lorian has asked, it took 2 hours and 15 minutes for level 1. Do you think level 2 will take longer?
Level 2 will definitely take longer, at least a half hour longer.
And mostly that's because level 1 deals with those basic tools. That the test is mostly how to do things, right, in those basic Google tools. Whereas level 2, it's new stuff. It's really new. They're new lesson ideas, and you're learning new things. And remember, you need to know how to do those things. So while a lot of the people who took level 1 and passed it really easily because they'd always been doing those kinds of Google tools, if you're Google proficient, you're still learning a lot of new things in level 2.
And what I really like about these exams is they're really hands-on. You really are demonstrating that you're using these Google tools effectively and efficiently. You actually are timed to be able to do all of these activities within a certain time period.
Which is really great for the Innovator program, and I know that probably Jay and Sandra can attest to it, and Michelle, that working with the cohort, it's really great because when you are working together, we really can jump in and do some cool things, and everyone kind of has a basic understanding. So our time together really can be about innovating and working with each other and collaborating. So it's really great to have this foundation for sure.
We've seen that change over the years, right? Well, Wendy, the evolution of the people going through the Teacher Academy, back when it was called that, the level of skill people are coming in with now is amazing, and it's really fun to really push the boundaries then. I would like to say something about the time that it takes, though. That there are quite a few instructions on these tasks, things that it's asking you to do, and create a document and share it with this address and all that kind of thing. So I know that some people who are second language English speakers or non-native language English speakers, some of them have been a bit challenged in getting through the tests on time, and there were quite a few people that I know that did run out of time because of the they're following along with the instructions very, very carefully. So you do have to find that balance of going fast enough, but not skimming over things and missing important details that you might need as far as the step that you have to go and do. But that's where the experience using the products beforehand, coming in and taking the exam, is really, really important.
And not to negate the challenge of somebody who's not a native English speaker, but I think for everyone going through those unit reviews and the practice in the training center, spending the time doing that is so totally worth it. Because then, like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm ready to go. Instead of like, yeah, I've been using Google for a while. I'm ready to rock this. And then like going, oh, wait, how do I do that again?
And I think that that's true. I mean, the training center itself, if you head to it, and I dropped the link into the Google Plus event, but you really just spending time, even at exams aside, if you're interested about a certain, pedagogical task or a tool or whatever it might be, you can go in and learn how to do it with some great videos and some great prompts. So it really does get you set up to try to do these things with your students, which is our goal. Cool. And Bill has another question about why doesn't the test taker know which questions are missed? I'd like to know if I nailed it or not, but by knowing what I missed, I could study more. Any thoughts around how you know, or the feedback, or once you finish taking the exam, folks?
I will say that I've heard a bit of that same feedback about knowing what's coming next. Some people didn't budget their times. They were running out of time again because they didn't realize that there were so many questions left, or there's so many tasks that they still had to do within a question. So some of those things are feedback that we can give directly to the Googlers that are in charge of this in order to make it better.
And I will say, because I didn't pass the first time, that when you don't pass, they actually tell you areas to focus on. And so that's really good too. It'll tell you to focus on this particular section in the training center. So that's helpful.
And I know, and I totally feel for people who, don't pass or whatever, and they want to know, I got question 24 wrong or something. But then I think it's pedagogically, if you look at it, it makes a lot more sense the way Google handles it. Like, focus on this area. We're not going to tell you, like, you missed this question, so you've got to memorize the correct answer for this question. You need to go back and work on this area and develop your skills so you're ready for it, which I know is frustrating, but also makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Thanks, Sean. Kate, did you want to keep us going through any more? Yeah, sure.
One of the things, the feedback we've gotten from the people we've seen face-to-face is the confusion about the 7 days. Once you register and get your exam, you have 7 days to take the exam. And it'll tell you the date and time that the exam will expire. But what most people don't see is that after the time it says UTC. That is not Pacific Standard Time. That's not Mountain Standard Time. That's not your time zone. That is a UTC time zone. So when it says UTC, you need to actually look up, if it says 1300 UTC, look up what 1300 UTC is in your time zone. because I've seen at least now 2 times where they've gotten down to the last 3 hours of their 7-day window, and they found out they couldn't take it. So that's been something that people have had a problem with as well. Making sure that you are on solid Wi-Fi. A couple of the feedback we've gotten as well is that my Wi-Fi went down. And secondly, make sure your camera is pretty, it works. They are going to take, photos of you as you're taking the test. And so you're going to need to make sure you have a computer with a camera that actually works. So generally a Chromebook even is your best bet there because they're pretty reliable. And then it is an open book model for these exams. They always have been for Google. So make sure you keep a second computer. My suggestion is to have a second computer next to you where you've got the test on one and then you're looking things up if you need to on another one so that you don't accidentally close the testing window. That is like, I think everyone's nightmare is that they're going to close the testing window. So if you have that second computer there available to you, then you've got a good time. Does anyone else have, I was thinking of something technical that came to me while everyone was talking, but I forgot. Was there any other technical things that anyone's seen?
I was going to mention the 7 days. I missed my 7-day window and then went to re-register for the tests, and I couldn't. Like, my account seemed to be locked, and in the end, I just ended up registering from a different Google account, but I know if you do miss that 7-day window, it's a little tricky. So just a note for that.
Yeah, and then the other thing is make sure you register level 1 separate from level 2, because I didn't actually pay attention to that, and I did level 1 and level 2, and so I was trying to cram level 1 and level 2 into 7 days, and it was not possible. I ended up, I think, writing level 2 at like 2 a.m. in the morning.
What, do you have a baby or something, Sandra? If you guys look at my screen really quick, if you're just wondering, I saw on Twitter, taking furious notes, some people are, but really it's just at edutrainingcenter.withgoogle.com, and I would recommend just getting familiar before you even do any of registering for the exam. But you can kind of see the flow that you could go that Kate mentioned earlier. But like Sandra said, keeping it separate. If you're going to do level 1, your training is right here, and you can walk through that. You can look at some sample exam questions. Lorianne just asked, what do the exam questions look like? Is there multiple choice? And you can certainly see here what those examples might look like, just to prepare yourself. And if you're thinking of going for this cohort, you've got some time, so you've got a month. So take your time and explore and practice with these tools, like Jay mentioned, for sure. But first step would be coming to the training center and get familiar with it. When you actually do register, like Sandra mentioned, you're going to actually make an account and fill it out, and then register for your exam so it shows up in that account. So all of this stuff could be good to kind of at least get started, and then think about planning in that 7-day window when you might want to give it a go.
I'd like to say something about connectivity. I've been working with a group of teachers in India and going through this, and there they have some issues in some places with stability of the internet connection, and their network may drop out for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. What we found, though, is that if you just sit and wait, like, don't close down the browser, don't try to start the exam over. If you know your network may go in and out kind of regularly, or that it usually comes back quite quickly, just wait until it comes back up. Don't move. Don't leave the your chair, because it will still be taking pictures of you the whole time. Randomly throughout. So that's one bit of advice from the cohort in India that's just gone through it.
And I remembered the thing I was going to say, and I think actually Sean gave me a heads up on this because he had taken his test before me, and that's when you finish the test. If you didn't take level 1 and you're only going to do level 2, or if you're going to do both, when you finish the test and hit submit, or whatever the button is when you're finished, it spins and it says, we'll let you know in just a second. And it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. It's not just a second, and it could be spinning there for 5 minutes. But if you go and check your email, most likely you got an email saying whether you passed or failed, and it's still spinning. So if you're sitting there and it's just abnormally long to grade your test, check your email real quick just to see if you did get that email, and then you can go ahead and close that window.
And another technical tip, I think the test, the exam itself tells you, but they suggest that you open an incognito window so that you don't kind of mess up your accounts with the account that you'll use for the exam.
All right. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Wendy will moderate for technical things. I thought we would we can't go into content too much because you do kind of sign a non-disclosure agreement when you take the test, saying that you won't give much content out. But what I would emphasize is that if it tells you to know how to do something, know how to do it. Go practice how to do it. And you will be asked to do tasks. So make sure if it's showing you how to do something, go in and do that a couple times so you're comfortable with it. And especially in level 2 where you think it's just maybe a lesson idea, and it turns out they're actually going to ask you to recreate something that's in level 2. Make sure that you know how to do all of the things it's asking you to do. And then secondly, for the part of the test that's not task-based, just know why doing those things is good for you and your students. If you see a lesson idea or if they give you an idea, just in your head say, okay, well, why would I want to do this with my students? And overall, you should be okay. Does anyone else have anything for content?
I will say that at the beginning of each of the units in the training center, there is an introduction page, and the structure is similar across all of the units in both level 1 and level 2. There are about 5 different formats of lesson plans, whether they have video or they have audio or little scenarios and things like that. But on the introduction page of each of those units, there are a couple of really good things that you should make note of. One of them is that the what you will learn, those kind of not really learning outcomes, but kind of that type of thing about what you're going to be, the types of skills that you're going to be learning about, or the types of knowledge. And then the products that we cover, and this is where this training center takes a big departure from the past, is that we get away from product-based, and we get into really what teachers kind of need to do every day. So take a look at those products we cover, or the products we will cover as well.
Which is great, but I also want, like, the flip side of that, Jay, is what I've seen in the training center is it's really great to see the products that we cover and be able to say, you know what, wait a second, I haven't been in Sheets in a while. And there's like a little tutorial on like getting to know Sheets better so that you're better ready to go through and do whatever the task is. I really like that because it's like there's a couple times when it's like, well, wait a second, doing what? Maybe I better. It'd be, it's worth taking 5 minutes to go and review that product so that I'm ready to get on with the bigger learning of the task or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And actually, one of the things, and it's on that overview page, on that introduction page, the bottom part, just below all the products, are the skills that you'll need. Those, when it says to the learn how, and this was a kind of a moment of clarity for me. This training center is really all about the context of education. There's also the help center. Now, the Help Center is the step 1, click here, step 2, click here. It's the how-tos. So Google deliberately tried to keep those things separate, and just instead of recreating within this training center all of those how-tos, like how to share a folder, we just say share a folder, and then you can, when you're doing your studying and your preparation, you may want to have the Help Center, which is just support.google.com. Have that open and use that for the how-tos. And those are the things we tried to link throughout the lessons.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. A couple other great tips coming through our event page, but we've got a great tip from Stefan to pin the test tab, so getting your environment all nice and set up, and Sergio mentioned too, getting used to the testing environment itself. So maybe trying level 1 out if you're thinking about it, and get in there and get comfortable before you go into level 2. So lots of great, not only questions coming in, but also tips. So thanks, everyone. Feel free to keep throwing in those questions. Thanks, Michelle, and others on the panel for answering or getting folks the resources they need.
Sure thing.
So one of the things that came up on that events page, Kate, are you going to share that your slide deck after this? Can you drop the link in there?
I would be happy to. Yep, I will do that.
Cool. Does Sandra, or Michelle, or Jay, or Sean, any other tips about timing or technical or content that you can share with folks who are thinking about it? Should they do it? Is it a good use of their time? What are your other general thoughts about taking the level 2 exam?
Well, I'll go first and basically echo what other people said. Is what Jay was saying about, like, you know what, it says 3 hours, block out 3 hours, and I think Kate was saying that also, because like if you finish a half hour early, like how great is it to have extra time in your day? But you don't want to be stressed taking it out or taking the test, so it's better to just plan on it taking 3 hours and just block it out and do it. And then Sergio in the event page mentioned that, like, even if you don't feel like you really necessarily have to take the level 1 test, taking it gives you really good experience, like what the format of the test is, how it flows, what you're expected to do, and it's like $10, and it's a great experience that'll totally prep you for taking the level 2 test. And I totally agree with him on that. It's totally worthwhile. While you don't have to, it's good prep.
I was also thinking, just like any exam prep, any exam you write that, or you might tell your students to write, just pacing yourself also means that if there's a question that you're a little bit stuck on, just move on and like tag it, and then you can, if you have the half an hour at the end, go back to it later. But if you're kind of just mulling on that same question for too long, you could end up losing your time, and it is kind of a time crunch sometimes. And then the other thing is, when you have that second computer, the help center that Jay was talking about is a really good page to have open on that second computer.
I would say one thing that I've had people do in the workshops that I've led around this is to get a study plan together. Take a look at all of the units. There are, I think, like 13 units or something like that in the basic or in the fundamentals, and then you know, around the same in the there's 9 in the advanced level. So take a look at those, and what I like to have people do is think to themselves, like, even if you just look at the title of it, like design interactive curricula, or and if you open that up, it has a little blurb and introduction of the general types of things that it's about. If you look at all those 9 units, let's say in the level 2, and rank them, and kind of say, hey, wait, here's an area that I really need to focus on. I'm not really sure about this interactivity. How do I do that with Google Apps? Well, then spend your time in your studying and your prep, you know, spending some extra time on that, and getting some hands-on time with the products. And that may be a little bit of a challenge for some. So, for example, Classroom is used as an example in here. And you may not have Classroom turned on in your school. But do what you can in order to try and get some experience, or watch, you know, read through the Help Center. There's tons of movies on the YouTube that are about all of these things that can help you out.
Something you said in there just reminded me, Jay. Some teachers I was working with here in Chicago yesterday. It was really great because 4 of them, I think, like decided to do the unit review out of the training center. And they like all took it at the same time and were talking about it, and like, well, wait a second, I have, you know, 1 and 3 marked, but you marked 1, 2, and 3, and like without even checking their answers, we're talking to each other about like, how did you interpret the question, and getting into it, and like having not an argument, but a discussion about like why they marked what. And I was just like, you guys are on it. That's awesome. Get a little study group together and hash it out, because going through the training center, you can like figure out really quickly who has the correct answer, because it grades it right away, and then they were able to, you know, go back and say, okay, this wasn't the right answer, and figure out why this wasn't the right answer. So getting
totally, I think it's it's cool to see staff at schools do it together or learn together, because you have a partner in crime that you can actually, you know, if you're doing Classroom and, you know, want to try it out or share a file with somebody, or have another class give comments on something, it's really nice to co-learn together. So I would totally second that as well, and it's motivation for you too to get it done, or, you know, put it on a calendar and invite somebody and have someone hold you accountable for training and learning about it on your own as well.
It's a good team building too. You know, if you're working with a bunch of teachers and you all have a shared goal, it's something simple like this, not a visionary school goal or anything. Great for team building as well.
And then I think when it comes down to it, it is a training. There's a lot that you can glean and learn from the center. And I mean, there's tips and tricks that I was like, oh, I didn't know that was there. And like some of the sheets, especially some of the graphs, I didn't realize some of the graphs were there. And so take it as a learning experience. You don't have to just use it as, I have to pass the test, I have to pass the test. Like it really is a learning experience.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sandra. Thanks, everyone, for sharing all these great tips. If anyone has any more questions, go ahead and throw them in now. I also put the link if anyone wants to just come in and meet the panel and ask a question, or we have some people who've taken the exam in the audience. Feel free to click on that link and come join us on camera if you'd like. But we'll also hang out for a few minutes and see any other questions that come in. As we wait for questions, just to reiterate any of the details, you have until May 10th to fill out your application at certifiedinnovators.com. But this is a great first step, so if you're just thinking about it, do know that there's other cohorts starting throughout the year, so this may be on your timeline for now, is to get certified, get to know the tools, take your level 2 exam, and then you can hang tight for our next cohort announcement. But or you can go for it right now and start thinking about what your vision might be to change education, and go for both of them as well.
And Wendy, just to reiterate, the Innovation Academy is open to people around the world. Is that correct?
Yep, it's correct, but you do have to get yourself to that location. There is limited travel available, so don't let that hold you back. We want to get folks to come, and if it's not within your budget, we can be creative and think about that. But it is open to folks from around the world. Our last cohort, we had folks from Germany, South Korea, London, so it was really, really great to have a global perspective in there as well. Great question.
And Wendy, can I add in also that it's not just teachers? I mean, we're opening it up to the IT people, but people that just really have a stake in education, even community. So it's not just for teachers anymore as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. And I think Sergio's advice to the correct scenario is to go for it right now, right? There's no better time than now to go for something, right? And hopefully, don't be afraid to jump in there and give it a go. And at the very least, you'll learn a lot about using some pretty fantastic methodologies in the classroom for sure. Cool. Kate's posted her slideshow from today. Thanks for that, Kate. And then we also had a question about maybe what is the Innovator training like in the program. Do any of you want to take a go at this newest iteration, just for helping people set the stage? Once you get your level 2 certification, you're eligible to apply for the Innovator program. And Stefan was interested, well, what does that look like? Or any other thoughts about the experience for taking it to that next level?
I'll start because I was just able to go through it, and I've been through a few of these different iterations of the Google Teacher Academy now, the Innovators, and it is really about this idea of innovation and taking and making a real difference somewhere that's going to mean something to you. So, for example, I was a coach. I had 6 people on my team from all around the world. I had the UK member and then a bunch from the States, and they each came with their different problems. And what was really great is like you get together with 30 or 40 of the most incredible people, and you say, hey, here's my idea. And I know the people that are on this Hangout, we talk sometimes about getting geek bumps, right? When you're talking about something, you come up with this idea, or somebody shares something, you're like, wait, that's really, really cool. You get to work with some of the most engaging and kind of creative people out there. And that's one reason why I like to stay involved with it and be a coach this year. It was great to listen to the ideas that people had to say and push myself in my own thinking as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jay. I've put in a link, or I'm putting it in right now, we have another Hangout that's specifically just around the experience and around the vision and the rest of the application. So we really hope you guys all join us for that. I'll put that in. It's on Tuesday, April 26th, and we'll have a panel of innovators, a lot like this, but we'll dig into more of the application, and also just helping you with your ideas. So it would be great if you want to set a mini goal for yourself, maybe getting level 2 or even just level 1 completed, and come and start thinking about an idea that you have for changing education. We hope you join us for that one as well.
Sorry, can I just chime in really quickly?
Time,
I think the other huge difference about the Innovator Academy now is the mentor and coaching, and the year-long focus, as opposed to just the 1 or the 2-day event. I mean, in the past we've had projects, but just having your we started calling each other our tribe, having your cohort, your tribe with you throughout that period, and I thought just a really great job in building that community during the academy, but then that community continues throughout the year. And not only that, you're introduced to the rest of the Innovator community by having a mentor throughout the year, is really, I think, part of what makes the Innovation Academy such an amazing professional development, and I just really highly recommend people apply for this.
Thanks, Sandra. Stephan asked about the cost, and it is just travel to get there. Once you get there, and your lodging as well. But once you get there, yummy, googly food and swag and fun is in store for you. So the rest is absolutely covered. So thanks, Stephan, for that question as well. There was a question from, and sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but Lorianne, about when is the application boot camp. So and then I think we had Brian ask about boot camps and extended trainings. I think obviously the training center itself is designed to be self-learning and go at your own pace, but there are certainly a lot of different options available for folks who are interested in hands-on exploration and training of level 1 and level 2. If you wanted to share a little bit about that, Kate.
You cut out a little bit. Were you talking to?
Oops, yeah. Am I here now?
Okay. You asking about boot camps?
Yeah, we have a question. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we do boot camps for level 1, level 2, and trainer, although we don't have many for trainer right now. But essentially, why would we bring the boot camps in? The suggested study time, let me backtrack. The suggested study time for both training centers each is 15 to 20 hours. And really, if you go through all the materials and do all the activities, it really is between 15 and 20 hours. And it's especially in level 2, but if you're a newbie in level 1, it's a lot to know. So it's really nice to have the boot camps come in to the district. They're very much, if you've ever been to a Google Summit, they're very much like that, where they're ticketed events, and you can just come in and just buy a seat in one of them, and you'll have someone like Sean or someone else going through the program with you, and orienting you to the exam, and really kind of showing you how to do the things that they're showing you online, but now you have someone in person to be able to do it with. Over and over again, I'm also finding people who are not, this is just a place where just become friends with everybody else, and they're chatting back and forth afterwards. And you ones. So every time John goes to see a boot camp, he keeps his email with those people, and they have questions to ask, and whether it's technical or content, it's just really nice to have that support and just a contact afterwards. If you want to know more about those, just go to edtechteam.com/bootcamps, and you can find one or host one nearby you if you click the links.
Thanks, Kate. Cool. Well, I think we reached most of our questions in the community. I really invite everyone to, in the community, in the event page, add Sean and Jay and Michelle and Sandra to your communities and your networks, and keep in touch. It's so great to see folks like Julie and Lisa online working together, and please feel free to keep asking questions and working towards learning how to use Google for education in your classrooms, in your communities, in your schools. That's what we're here for, and it's all changed our teaching lives for the better. So we really hope to grow our network and grow our cohorts, and hope you apply. Awesome. Thanks so much, Jay and Kate and Michelle and Sandra and Sean, for joining us today. Really great to hear more about the center and tips and tricks as well.
Cool. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Great seeing everyone.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. Good luck.
Thanks, everyone. We will archive this. You also have the presentation link as well from Kate that you can use. And we hope to see you at Tuesday's April 26th panel with innovators to find more about the actual application details of the program. We hope to see you all there. Thanks for joining us this evening, this morning, wherever you might be. And thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.